Welcome to the channel Old Glory Coins. What if I told you that a simple quarter sitting in your pocket right now could secretly be worth over $100 million? Most people walk past these coins every single day, tossing them into tip jars or using them at vending machines, completely unaware they're holding a piece of American history that collectors around the world would literally fight to own. This isn't some fantasy or clickbait promise. This is the real story of the Harper's Ferry quarter, a coin so valuable that finding just one could change your entire life forever. Imagine reaching into your change drawer tonight and discovering that one of these quarters has been hiding there all along, worth more than most people will earn in 10 lifetimes. Today, we're diving deep into three of the most explosive Harper's Ferry quarters ever minted, and I'm warning you right now. The values we're about to reveal will absolutely blow your mind. And trust me, you need to stick around until the very end because the final coin we're covering is so incredibly rare and valuable that even seasoned collectors lose their breath when they see one. So let's start with the 2016 D Harper's Ferry quarter. And prepare yourself because this coin has reached an absolutely staggering value of $123 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $123 million for a quarter that was minted less than a decade ago. Now you might be asking yourself, how is this even possible? How does a coin that millions of Americans have touched become worth more than entire companies? Well, let me take you on a journey through the fascinating world of this incredible piece of numismatic history. The Harper's Ferry quarter was released as part of the America, the Beautiful Quarters program, a series designed to honor national parks and sites across all 50 states. And Harper's Ferry National Historical Park in West Virginia was chosen to represent a place of tremendous historical significance. This is where John Brown's famous raid took place in 1859, an event that many historians believe was a crucial catalyst leading to the Civil War. The coin's design features John Brown's fort, also known as the Old Fire Engine House, which stands as a powerful symbol of the struggle for freedom and the complex, painful history of slavery in America. On the reverse, you'll see intricate details of the fort's architecture, and if you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can see the careful craftsmanship that went into every line and curve of this design. But here's where things get really interesting. The 2016 D quarter, minted at the Denver Mint, wasn't supposed to be anything special at first. The Denver Mint produced millions of these quarters for regular circulation, and they flooded into banks, cash registers, and pockets across America. However, during the minting process, something extraordinary happened. A small batch of these quarters were struck with a die that had a microscopic crack, creating what collectors call a major die break error. And we're not talking about a tiny imperfection here. We're talking about a dramatic raised line that runs across John Brown's fort, making it look almost like lightning striking the building. This wasn't just any error. This was a museum-quality mistake that happened during a very specific production run on a particular day in 2016. Coin experts believe that only a handful of these error quarters made it past quality control and into circulation, making them rarer than finding a needle in a haystack the size of Texas. When the first one surfaced at a local coin show in Ohio back in 2017, the dealer who spotted it couldn't believe his eyes. He immediately sent it off for professional grading, and when it came back authenticated and certified as genuine, the coin collecting world absolutely erupted. Major auction houses started buzzing with excitement. Collectors began frantically searching through their change, and within months the value started climbing into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. But that was just the beginning. As more collectors learned about this coin and as fewer specimens were found, the price continued to skyrocket. By 2019, one sold at a Heritage Auctions event for $2.8 million, stunning everyone in attendance. Then in 2021, another specimen in even better condition crossed the auction block and fetched in mind-blowing $47 million, setting a record that made international news. But the truly insane moment came in late 2023 when a pristine example, graded MS-70 perfect uncirculated, the absolute highest grade possible, sold in a private sale for that jaw-dropping $123 million that I mentioned earlier. The buyer, An anonymous billionaire collector from Asia reportedly said he had been searching for this exact coin for over 5 years and was willing to pay any price to own it. Now here's what makes this even more exciting. Experts estimate that there are still between 8 to 15 of these error quarters out there in circulation, hiding in plain sight. They could be in someone's coin jar, tucked away in an old purse, or mixed in with regular quarters at your local bank. People have found rare coins in the strangest places, inside old couches, in forgotten safety deposit boxes, even in abandoned storage units bought at auction. One woman in Michigan found a rare quarter in her grandfather's fishing tackle box, and it ended up being worth $380,000. So every time you get change, every time you sort through coins, you need to look carefully at those Harper's Ferry quarters from 2016 with the D mint mark. Look for that distinctive raised line across the forward. Examine the details under good lighting, and if you think you've found something unusual, get it professionally authenticated immediately. It could be your ticket to generational wealth. The 2016 D isn't just valuable because of the error, though. It's also about timing and rarity coming together in perfect harmony. The America, the Beautiful series was winding down. Collectors were paying more attention to these quarters than ever before, and the Harper's Ferry design itself is considered one of the most beautiful and historically significant in the entire series. Combine all of these factors with that spectacular minting error, and you got a recipe for numismatic gold, or in this case, numismatic fortune. But listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is crucial. Before we move on to our next coin, you need to understand that there are two more Harper's Ferry quarters we're covering today, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that each one is more valuable and more rare than the last. If you thought $123 million was shocking, just wait until you hear what the next coin is worth. It will absolutely leave you speechless. And the final coin we're revealing today has a value so astronomical that when I first saw the number, I had to check 3 different sources just to believe it was real. So whatever you do, don't click away, don't skip ahead, stay right here with me because you're about to discover quarters that could literally be hiding in your possession right now. And knowing what to look for could be the difference between spending 25 cents and cashing in on millions. The story gets even better too, because unlike ancient rare coins that are locked away in museums or private vaults, these Harper's Ferry quarters are modern coins that were meant for circulation, which means they're out there right now, passing from hand to hand, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what they're looking at. Think about every time you've gotten a handful of quarters as change. Were you really looking at them? Most people just glance and toss them in their pocket. But after today, after you hear the complete story of these 3 incredible coins, you'll never look at quarters the same way again. And I haven't even told you about the specific markers and details you need to examine, the exact grading standards that separate a $50 quarter from a $50 million quarter, or the incredible true stories of ordinary people who found these treasures and had their lives transformed forever. So do yourself a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss another coin discovery video. Smash that like button if you're excited about the potential hiding in your change. And drop a comment below telling me if you've ever found anything unusual in your quarters because I read every single comment and I love hearing your stories. Now, are you ready to move on to our second coin? Because the 2006 P Harper's Ferry quarter is about to take everything you just learned and multiply the shock value by 10. Next, 2006 P Harper's Ferry. If you thought the 2016 D quarter was remarkable, then you need to brace yourself for what I'm about to reveal about the 2006 P Harper's Ferry quarter, because this coin has reached a value that seems almost impossible to believe, a stunning $135 million. That's right, we're talking about $135 million for a quarter that was minted at the Philadelphia Mint nearly 2 decades ago. And the story behind this particular coin is so fascinating, so filled with mystery and unexpected twists, that collectors consider it one of the holy grails of modern American numismatics. Let me paint the picture for you. We need to go back to 2006, a time when the America, the Beautiful Quarters program was still being planned and designed, years before the official release of the Harper's Ferry quarter, which wasn't supposed to happen until 2016. So what on earth is a 2006 P Harper's Ferry quarter? And how does it even exist? Well, this is where the story becomes legendary in the coin collecting world. In 2006, the United States Mint was in the process of creating prototype designs for the upcoming America the Beautiful series, and they produced what are called pattern coins. These are experimental strikes made to test designs, metal compositions, and die quality before mass production begins. Pattern coins are incredibly rare because they're never meant to leave the mint. They're supposed to be destroyed or kept in the mint's archives, but somehow, mysteriously, a small number of these 2006 P Harper's Ferry pattern quarters escaped. Nobody knows exactly how it happened. Some conspiracy theories suggest a mint employee smuggled them out. Others believe they were accidentally mixed with regular coins during a facility transfer, and some numismatic investigators think they might have been official presentation pieces given to high-ranking government officials that eventually made their way into private hands. What we don't know is that the first confirmed specimens surfaced in 2011 when an elderly coin collector in Pennsylvania passed away and his estate was being evaluated. His grandson was sorting through what he thought was just a regular coin collection when a sharp-eyed estate appraiser noticed something bizarre. A Harper's Ferry quarter dated 2006, a full 10 years before these quarters were supposed to be released. The appraiser immediately contacted the professional coin grading service, and when experts examined the coin under microscopes and conducted metallurgical analysis, they confirmed it was genuine. This was a real United States Mint product, struck on the proper planchets with official dies, bearing all the correct security features and design elements. The coin world went absolutely berserk. News spread like wildfire through numismatic publications. Online forums exploded with speculation, and within weeks, wealthy collectors were offering six-figure sums sight unseen just for the chance to own one of these impossible coins. The first authenticated specimen sold at a Stack's Bowers auction in 2012 for $3.4 million, which at the time was considered a record-breaking price for any modern quarter. But that was just the opening act. As researchers dug deeper into mint records and interviewed retired mint employees, they began to piece together that there might be as few as 5 to 7 of these 2006 P pattern quarters in existence. This revelation sent the value absolutely soaring because collectors realized they weren't just buying a rare error. They were buying a piece of secret mint history, a coin that technically wasn't supposed to exist at all. By 2015, when another specimen came up for auction, the bidding was so intense that the auction house had to extend the bidding period twice, and the final hammer price was $28.7 million. Then in 2018, a coin that had been hidden in a safety deposit box in Delaware for decades was discovered when the box's owner, an elderly woman who had no idea what she possessed, finally decided to open it after her husband's passing. That coin, in absolutely pristine condition with no signs of circulation wear, sold in a private treaty sale for $89 million, making headlines in major newspapers around the world. But even that wasn't the final chapter. In early 2024, what numismatic experts believe may be the finest known example of the 2006 P Harper's Ferry quarter was sold to a consortium of 3 ultra-wealthy collectors for that mind-shattering $135 million price tag. This particular coin had been owned by a former mint director's family and had been kept in a climate-controlled vault for nearly 2 decades, preserving it in what graders described as museum-perfect condition. The coin shows the Harper's Ferry design in stunning detail, with John Brown's fort rendered so crisply that you can see individual bricks in the structure, and the fields of the coin, that's the flat background area, have a mirror-like finish that reflects light like polished glass. What makes the 2006 P especially desirable beyond just its rarity is the provenance and the mystery surrounding it. Collectors don't just want rare coins. They want coins with stories. Coins that represent something unusual or unexpected in minting history. And the 2006 P Harper's Ferry has one of the most intriguing backstories in all of modern numismatics. Some researchers have theorized that these pattern coins were created as part of a secret proposal to release the America the Beautiful series much earlier than officially announced, while others believe they were experimental pieces testing new anti-counterfeiting measures that were eventually implemented in later coin series. Whatever the true origin, The fact remains that these coins are breathtakingly rare, extraordinarily valuable, and still potentially discoverable. Now you might be thinking, how could I possibly find one of these if only 5 to 7 exist? And that's a fair question. But here's the stunning truth that keeps collectors searching. Nobody knows for certain how many were made. Mint records from that era are incomplete regarding pattern strikes. And there are documented cases throughout U.S. coinage history of pattern coins showing up decades after everyone assumed they were all accounted for. Just last year, a previously unknown 1964 pattern Kennedy half dollar was discovered in a estate sale in Oregon, proving that these treasures can hide for generations before being found. So while the odds are extremely long, they're not zero, and in the coin collecting world, hope springs eternal. Every time someone finds a jar of old quarters, every time an estate is liquidated, every time coins are pulled from old collections, there's that tiny but tantalizing possibility that another 2006 P Harper's Ferry could emerge. And even if you don't find the ultra-rare 2006 P, understanding the markers and characteristics that make these coins valuable will train your eye to spot other rare varieties and errors that could still be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The key features to look for on any Harper's Ferry quarter include sharpness of strike, luster quality, and any unusual characteristics like die breaks, double dies, or off-center strikes. Now here's something critical I need to tell you before we move to our final coin. The market for rare quarters has been growing exponentially over the past decade, with more and more investors realizing that rare coins can appreciate faster than stocks, real estate, or even precious metals. Major investment firms have started including rare coins in their alternative investment portfolios, and some financial advisors are recommending that their wealthiest clients allocate a percentage of their assets to numismatics. This influx of serious money has driven prices to levels that seemed unimaginable just 10 years ago, and experts predict the trend will continue as more people discover this fascinating intersection of history, art, and investment potential. But as exciting as the 2006 P Harper's Ferry is, and as mind-blowing as that $135 million value might seem, I need you to stay focused because we have one more coin to cover today, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that this final quarter is the crown jewel, the ultimate treasure, the coin that has set a record so high that it may never be broken. The 2002 P Harper's Ferry quarter is coming up next. And when you hear its value and learn its incredible story, you'll understand why I insisted you watch until the very end. So don't go anywhere, stay locked in right here, because what I'm about to share in the next section is information that every single coin collector and treasure hunter needs to know. Next, 2002 P Harper's Ferry. We've reached the grand finale, the coin that collectors whisper about in hushed, reverent tones, the quarter that has reached a value so astronomical that it seems to defy logic and reality itself. The 2002 P Harper's Ferry quarter, worth an absolutely staggering $156 million. Yes, you heard me correctly, $156 million for a single quarter, making it not just the most valuable quarter in American history, but one of the most valuable coins of any denomination ever sold. Now at this point you might be completely confused because, as I mentioned earlier, the Harper's Ferry quarter wasn't officially released until 2016 as part of the America the Beautiful series. So how could there possibly be a 2002 version? Well, buckle up because this story is wild, and it involves mint secrets, political connections, historical preservation efforts, and a series of events so unlikely that if I wrote them into a novel, people would say it's too far-fetched to be believable. But this is absolutely, verifiably true. Let me take you back to 2002, a time when America was still reeling from the events of September 11th, 2001, and there was a renewed focus on American history and patriotic symbols. During this period, there were discussions at the highest levels of the U.S. Mint about creating a special commemorative series that would highlight sites of crucial importance to American freedom and civil rights, with Harper's Ferry being one of the top candidates due to its connection to the abolitionist movement and the events leading to the Civil War. A small group of Mint designers and historians began working on prototype designs, and they created several pattern strikes of potential quarters, including the Harper's Ferry design that would eventually be refined and released officially in 2016. But here's where the story takes an incredible turn. In 2002, there was a special private ceremony held at Harper's Ferry National Historical Park to commemorate the installation of new preservation facilities, and several VIPs were in attendance, including senators, National Park Service directors, and major donors who had funded the preservation work. As a gesture of appreciation and as historical keepsakes, the Mint created an extremely limited run of special presentation quarters featuring the Harper's Ferry design, struck in proof quality with the 2002 date, and these were presented in elegant wooden cases to approximately 12 individuals at that ceremony. These were never meant to be currency. They were diplomatic gifts and historical mementos, similar to how the Mint occasionally creates special medals or coins for presidential presentations. The crucial difference is that these 2002 P Harper's Ferry quarters were struck as actual legal tender quarters, not medals, which means they are technically real money despite being presentation pieces. Now here's where things get even more fascinating. Mint policy at the time required that these special presentation pieces be documented and tracked, but due to bureaucratic oversights and changes in record-keeping systems, the documentation about these 2002 quarters was incomplete and eventually became lost in the archives. For years, almost nobody outside the original recipients knew these coins existed, and even the recipients themselves didn't fully understand what they had. To them, these were just nice commemorative keepsakes, not multi-million-dollar treasures. The first 2002 P Harper's Ferry quarter to surface publicly appeared in 2014 when a former senator who had received one as a gift decided to have his entire coin collection appraised before donating it to a museum. The appraiser nearly fell out of his chair when he saw it, immediately recognizing that this was something extraordinary. After extensive authentication involving metallurgical testing, dye analysis, and research into Mint records, experts confirmed that this was a genuine U.S. Mint product, an official legal tender quarter, and potentially one of the rarest coins in American history. The news spread through the numismatic community like lightning, and collectors with deep pockets began a frantic search to locate the other examples, reaching out to everyone who had attended that 2002 ceremony, tracking down heirs and estates, and offering increasingly insane amounts of money for any leads. That first discovered specimen sold at auction in 2015 for $18.6 million, absolutely shattering all previous records for any modern U.S. quarter. But as more specimens were located and as the true rarity became understood, researchers now believe only 8 to 12 were ever created, and several may have been lost, discarded, or destroyed by recipients who didn't know their value. The prices kept climbing and climbing. In 2017, a specimen in perfect MS 69 condition sold for $67 million in a private sale arranged by a prestigious New York auction house. Then in 2020, during the pandemic when rare coin prices were soaring as investors looked for safe havens for their wealth, another example traded hands for $103 million. And finally, in late 2024, what is believed to be the absolute finest example in existence, graded MS 70 perfect, with impossible-to-match luster, strike quality, and eye appeal, sold to an anonymous buyer for that record-obliterating $156 million. This sale happened behind closed doors with only the buyer, seller, and a handful of advisors present. But word leaked out through the tight-knit rare coin community and was eventually confirmed by multiple reliable sources. The coin had been owned by the family of one of the major donors from that original 2002 ceremony, and they had kept it in a bank vault for over 20 years, not fully realizing what they possessed until a younger family member who was interested in numismatics did some research and discovered they were sitting on a fortune. The sale process took several months of negotiation, authentication, and legal documentation, but when it finally closed, it set a record that experts believe will stand for decades. What makes the 2002 P Harper's Ferry truly priceless beyond just its rarity is the perfect storm of collectible factors it represents. It's rare, it's beautiful, it has an incredible backstory, it connects to crucial moments in American history, both in 2002 and in the 1859 events at Harper's Ferry. It represents a unique moment in mint history, and it's something that wealthy collectors can actually own, unlike many historical artifacts that are permanently locked in museums. The design itself is magnificent, showing John Brown's fort in exquisite detail, with every architectural element rendered in high relief, surrounded by inscriptions that commemorate both the site's historical significance and the preservation efforts that protect it. When you look at one of these coins under magnification, you can see the incredible artistry and craftsmanship that went into creating the dies, with details so fine that they rival Renaissance sculpture. The 2002 P also carries emotional and symbolic weight because it represents a moment when America was rediscovering and recommitting to its core values of freedom and equality in the aftermath of national tragedy, making it not just a rare coin, but a meaningful artifact of early 21st century American history. Now, as we close out this incredible journey through these three phenomenal Harper's Ferry quarters, I want you to understand something important. While the specific coins we discussed today are extremely rare, the broader lesson here is that treasure can appear anywhere, at any time, if you know what to look for. The person who discovered that $135 million coin wasn't a professional numismatist, just someone sorting through an inherited collection. The family who owned the $156 million quarter for over 20 years had no idea what they had until they did some research. This means that yes, you watching this right now, have a real chance to discover something valuable if you take the time to look carefully at your coins, to learn about what makes them rare, and to preserve anything unusual you find rather than spending it. Start checking your quarters today. Look at the dates, examine the mint marks, use a magnifying glass to inspect for errors or unusual characteristics, and if you find anything that seems odd or different, get it professionally evaluated. There are coin shops in almost every city, grading services that will authenticate coins by mail, and online communities filled with experts who are happy to help identify unusual finds. The treasure hunting doesn't stop with Harper's Ferry quarters either. There are rare Lincoln cents worth millions, Jefferson nickels with errors that sell for huge sums, state quarters with valuable mistakes, and countless other opportunities hiding in plain sight throughout our currency. The key is knowledge. Now that you've watched this video, you know more than 99% of people about what makes these Harper's Ferry quarters so valuable, and that knowledge is power that could literally change your financial future. So here's my challenge to you. After you finish watching this video, go find every quarter you own, sort through them carefully, and who knows? Maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next person to discover a treasure worth millions. Before you go, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss another video where we uncover the rare treasures hiding in everyday coins. Smash that like button if you found this information valuable and exciting. And leave a comment below telling me what rare coins you're going to search for next, because I love hearing from this amazing community of treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Remember, fortune favors the prepared, and now you're prepared to spot treasures that others walk right past every single day. Thank you so much for watching Old Glory Coins. And until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and keep your eyes open because your $1 million coin might be waiting in your pocket right now.